go with this.
Yeah, fuck it.
We can try it.
Yeah, why not?
Oh man, I didn't even think the headphone things. Ow!
Oh, are you okay? Oh no, your headphones.
I can't lean.
You can't lean.
We're doing it, ladies and gentlemen. This is a late night pod.
This is another late night pod of
and
Cleveland
we're doing
Rocks.
it from the couch.
And not only you're burying the lead here. Not only we're doing it, we're able to do it from the couch because we have new equipment.
New equipment. I don't
got
know if you guys can tell.
Honest to God, microphones. I'm hoping the sound quality is better.
Not that it was that bad
Not
before.
that it was ever bad, but listen, we were go and move that. Yeah, let's get comfy on the couch. I'm vibing right now. Yeah, we're moving over corner.
You're gonna have to keep an eye on that, is all.
Yeah, listen, I think everything's gonna be great here. How you doing, TJ?
Oh, I'm good. Here, I kind of wanted to talk about this right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
A bacon, egg, and cheese is
Fuck
best
you.
served.
Fuck you. I can't
on a
believe we're
roll.
gonna do this on the podcast. This isn't even related.
A bacon, egg, and cheese. Well, no, it is related.
You no good rat bastard. You're wrong,
Because
it's a bagel.
I was thinking, you never really see people on TV eating breakfast.
Right.
You never, how often the only thing that comes to mind is the one time in Breaking Bad where Walter White they put out 40 in bacon on his plate.
I can think of like a lot of classic sitcoms that do. Full House. I feel like they were probably eating breakfast cereal before
I guess
school in the mornings.
kids eat breakfast.
Not even that, like Family Matters, I'm sure. Urkel would come over and be like, "Did I do that?" While they're eating cereal or some shit, you know?
Would he do that?
Yeah, he would do that. And you know what he would also do? Get a fucking bacon, egg, and cheese on a bagel. What's wrong with you?
Bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll.
No.
It's the way it's meant to be.
No, the problem with the roll is it's
perfectly
it's too airy.
soft.
No.
Oh, it's so soft.
It's soft, but that's the problem. It's not gonna hold the qualities of the sandwich.
See, well, one, you have a built-in problem with the bagel. There's a fucking hole in it. But also, I just think it's too hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's too sturdy. I think it's too dense.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need, for like a hearty bacon, egg, and cheese, it's good to have kind of a light and airy vessel through which to transport such already a heavy food.
Welcome to Cleveland Rocks. This is a podcast with the Drew Carey Show. I'm Shane Duffner. I'm joined here by TJ Swaggart, who has wrong opinions about breakfast foods. TJ, how are you doing?
They actually, my proper title is breakfast expert, breakfast connoisseur.
That was the agreed upon title in the contract.
Yes,
was breakfast expert connoisseur. Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Anyway, this is not about breakfast.
This is a podcast ostensibly about the Drew Carey Show, but
we had some ground to cover.
We had a thing that we were saving, I guess, for the podcast. I didn't realize we were saving it for the podcast.
Oh, you better believe it.
We just watched. So anyway, yeah, we have new equipment. So we're recording on professional microphones right now,
and we're coming to you hot off
2 episodes from season 1. We did episode 9, episode 10. We are fully. I brought it up last time that it was winter, and I didn't know that we just. It's a show that keeps track of where we are seasonally.
Yeah,
we are fully enmeshed in winter, in the holiday season.
It is Christmas time, baby.
It is Christmas time is here. It's fucking wild. Season 1, episode 9. Do you want to know what the title is?
Does it have anything to do with Christmas?
No. It's actually kind of a disappointment when you think about it.
Oh, it's got to do with the old lady.
Correct. It's called Drew and Mrs. Louder.
God, I miss the artistic titles already.
Well,
they gave up.
Well, let's wait until we get to episode 10.
Oh.
But we're going to jump it. It's actually...
This must be based on who in the writer's room pitched what
TJ,
episode.
When we get to episode 10, we're gonna blow the lid off this whole thing. We're gonna see a divide, I would say, growing in this writer's room. So we start with episode 9. It is Christmas time, but we don't really. We do know that because Drew gets a visitor to his home. Who is it other than Lisa?
Lisa's over.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa came over, and can I just say, Drew had a little bit of a flirty voice going on here.
He puts on.
It's not like this isn't the
works.
Rizzler, but this is like he's smitten with this girl.
Casual, confident Drew Carey.
Yeah,
absolutely. I want to we haven't acknowledged this actress by name. We in my Instagram DMs this week, somebody was like, I always thought Katie Silverstone was a babe. And I was like, I wonder who Katie Silverstone is. And I looked it up, and it is the actress who plays Lisa.
It is Lisa.
And she is a babe. I also looked into her Wikipedia, and she hasn't acted since 2012. So I hope whatever she's doing in life, she's happy. She's found peace. She's surely entertaining the shit out of me right now on the show. She is so charming.
She's one of the funniest.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Easily. I think that she's really the only one who's quick enough to keep, the way they've written her at least, the only one quick enough to keep up with Drew right now.
She's kind of like his perfect match in a way.
Yes.
Dare I say. She can match his energy and not mirror it, but it's an opposite attraction almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Mimi can match his energy, but
you don't want
the worst
you don't
way.
want to date that way. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, and not only did Lisa come over in the beginning of this, they're sneaking over. So it was kind of sexy.
Well, she's not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Drew makes a big stink about her breaking the rules that they have established for outside of work contact. Lisa stops by ostensibly, we learn, to give him an invitation to the holiday office party.
Can I just say, how do you have that connection with someone? How have you not figured it out?
Right.
Like, I get he has these rules. It's the sexual tension is palpable. Mm-hmm. How have you not figured out a way to make this work
Well,
yet?
I think it's because Drew is so scared about losing the job, right? He's so enamored with having this job that he doesn't want to lose it on a woman who literally in the second episode was non-committal with him. Though in that second episode he also said he was going to quit and marry her, if I remember correctly.
It's a shame that men can't have a career and a girlfriend too.
Why can't men have it all? Men should be able to have it all.
I'm tired of this.
Mm-hmm. She basically says outright she wants to move this relationship forward, and Drew is concerned about the work implications. He goes in for a smooch, though, and is stopped because Kate O'Brien is looking out the goddamn window.
Yep. Oh, Kate and all his horny friends
Mm-hmm.
and neighbor.
And this one neighbor.
His horny friends and neighbor.
We don't know if Jules is horny, I guess, because Jules,
I don't think he is.
Yeah.
Jules, Jules is just a wild card.
Jules is, yeah.
He's one of those people that I don't think, how sometimes there's people that just can't access that sexual part of their brain because they're so preoccupied in the insanity,
mm-hmm.
in the roulette that is their brain, in the madness.
Right.
Jules he's got too many projects. He's got too many things he's invested in.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And none of it's like it's not world affairs, right? Where he's not the president, but it's for instance, power company, electric company,
he's pretty
$50
close
giveaways.
To a president, I would say. He could be. If
could.
you ran that man today,
he could be a senator.
He could
that's
absolutely
for sure.
be a
he could be a senator
from
in
the state of
Ohio.
Title card comes in. So this episode's ostensibly about 3 different storylines, and it's Drew and Lisa. It's Drew in the workplace and a new work opportunity that presents itself, and then it's Jules, right? I think that covers all of it.
And you're giving Jules a lot of credit here.
Yeah, no, Jules isn't really, but it's funny. Jules adds some.
It is funny.
Some very necessary.
It's the Kramer plot.
Yeah, it's the Kramer plot. I guess let's start at the office as they're getting ready for this holiday office party. I think it's so weird that we see the guys in the office because they're supposed to have jobs. I guess not Oswald.
Yeah.
But Lewis is supposed to have
he works
a
at
job.
Drug Co.
He's a janitor at Drug Co. You telling me that they don't need to clean like Drug Co in the middle of the day?
They always
Maybe he's
just
an
have
overnight guy.
they have the most time to just go do activities.
They're just chilling
Oswald, I guess, is a DJ, and he is working
Right.
at one point.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, he gets a job at
Yeah.
the. So they're all trying to figure out different ways to get involved in this office holiday party. Lewis becomes Kate's date to the office party. Oswald strikes a deal with Drew to DJ it. And basically, I think he takes it for $20, if I'm not mistaken, in cash. So it looks like he's getting something, right? Is that how he described it?
Yes, $20 in cash in ones.
Yes, $20 in cash in one, so it looks impressive. To who it looks impressive, I don't actually know. Like, who cares?
Whatever women that Oswald seems to be attracted to the most unhinged women imaginable. At least in the 2 instances now that we've seen him interacting with a woman.
Striking out. Yeah, or not striking out, but trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that in this particular scene, I would describe Mimi and Drew, I feel like they are building to like an amicable relationship. Like they used to be like mortal enemies, and they still like try to get at each other, but there's like a laughing banter about it now.
Sure.
It's good.
It's spy versus spy almost.
Yeah.
They pick each other for the office holiday party. They randomly draw each other. Though it's unclear how many people draw Mimi's name, because Kate has a great line about drawing Mimi too, and then Drew goes, Mimi too, the worst sequel.
Why do they keep making sequels about things that I don't like?
Killer sequel zing. I love it.
We hate sequels.
We hate sequels.
Okay, so we do get introduced in this early part of the episode to the main plot here, which is Mrs. Louder, who
owns
the
store.
place because her husband used to own it. It was his store, and he died. Would like to have
a conversation with Drew over lunch at something called the Crystal Room.
The Crystal Room.
I love the word, or I love the name, the Crystal Room.
Yeah, they make it out to be a big deal.
Yeah.
They go in, and it's just a very tacky 90s-esque fancy restaurant with flower furniture, flower wallpaper, floral carpeting.
Drew has no idea why he's been called to this. He's never interacted with this woman. As far as he knows, she doesn't know who he is. He starts to wonder if it's like some sort of big promotion that they might give him, if he's going to inherit the store, if there's a chance that it's just he gets fucking fired for stealing pens.
I like the idea that he would inherit the store.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Drew is next in line for the store.
Willy Wonka style, he goes up to this crystal room and she goes, "You get everything you ever wanted, boy," and then they fly off in a glass elevator. That's why, that was a real opportunity or a real possibility presented to him to last. For some reason, he thought it was a possibility.
Oh, I like that they don't let Kate. Kate really had a bad couple of episodes here.
Kate is taking a lot of L's in her
but
personal
she took
life.
an L in this particular scene when all I wrote in my notes was women aren't funny. And because it felt like that was the point they were just
She
going
can't
for.
riff with them. So
She could not riff.
As we've
She
acknowledged,
lost her riff.
the name Louder is kind of funny as a last name, and that leads to the boys getting a lot of riffs in about, like sort of like an Abbott and Costello routine of imagining how phone calls are with the last name Louder.
That's actually how he died.
Yes.
Can we get an ambulance here? Who's it for?
Louder. Can
Who's
we get an
it
ambulance?
for?
Yeah, exactly. And Kate tries it and just fails, and Drew comes over and consoles her about how bad she is at riffing.
Yeah.
Kate couldn't do the podcast.
Kate couldn't hang.
It's a shame.
She can't hang with the boys.
She can't hang with the boys.
Actually, Kate could hang. I think Kate, honestly, Kate not getting enough credit in this. I don't. They really try to paint her as like a loser going out with all these dopes.
Mm-hmm.
She's a cutie.
She's hot.
She's hot.
She's funny.
She's funny.
I think she
can
could pull
just
a
have a
switchblade.
beer.
Yeah, I think she
Yeah.
could absolutely murder somebody if push came to shove.
After this scene, they pivot to Drew's home, and this is where you introduce the Jules plot.
Uh-huh.
So Drew's sitting on his couch and then gets hit, or he's in his backyard and he gets hit with just colorful,
astronomical levels of light.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's coming from his neighbor's house.
Yes.
Jewel has put out, we'd come to find out, it seems to be hundreds of thousands of Christmas lights a month before Christmas, because the electric company is holding a contest for brightest display, and the winner gets $50 off their bill.
It's great. How did you feel watching a sitcom plot about a guy who's obsessed with putting out a bunch of Christmas lights and displays?
I felt seen. I felt seen actually in this episode and episode 10.
And in the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We don't have to get to that. But I did think that. Do we want to acknowledge why? Can we talk about how you're a Christmas light fanatic?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I loved growing up. Still to some degree. I'm not obsessed. I mean, I live in New York. What am I going to do?
Can't do a lot of
if I had a
displays
fucking
out
yard, I'm telling you what, I'd be on the news. Because when I was a kid, I was part of that, like, let's make all our lights dance to music, and you had the neighbors slowing down outside the house. I mean, I loved that.
Well,
I don't know what that was.
Right.
I don't know why I was, because I always attributed it to my father, and my mom was like, your dad never did that shit. She was like, I have no idea.
Why
you just
got
picked
so
it up.
invested in it.
Yeah.
And yet, you say if you had a yard in New York, you'd be on the news. Can we talk about how you were in the news?
Yeah.
When this happened, I did have to pull up the article. 12-year-old Lower Borough boys nutcrackers like family. I thought it was more about the Christmas lights that I forgot. We can cut this, but it was about the Nutcracker collection. You fucking love Christmas, dude.
So
I love Christmas too.
I fucking love Christmas. When I was a kid, I had a collection of nutcrackers. And I don't know why. I mean, I guess they had
They're
little
very
beards.
festive.
They're very
Yeah.
festive.
Also,
I don't know what it was about them. That, like, some people, they collect the Santas or the snowmen or whatever. Nutcrackers, something about the way they looked. They were all in different figures too. You could get them in like Star Wars or whatever. And my little, 12-year-old brain was just absolutely
obsessed. Yeah.
And it grew to, like, I don't know, I had like 150 nutcrackers. And then finally they were like, we should get you on the news. And
the underrated thing about the Nutcracker, I would say, is it also has a utility. Yes, it is a decorative thing.
It does not. I'm here to let you know that all those painted delicate nutcrackers from Home Goods, they will fucking break.
Hold on.
If you
have you tried cracking nuts and all of them?
Yes.
You have,
and not all of them,
but enough of them.
You learn after the first one,
it's just no good,
that they were not made for cracking nuts.
Fair. Okay. Well, I couldn't help but think of you as we saw Jules and Drew go at it with these Christmas lights. We find out it's a month before Christmas and he's doing all this shit too.
Yeah.
He's got the dogs, like the animated dogs or whatever that bark in sync to carols.
Yes. Shout out another Drew fit. The sickest calves throwback starter puffer.
It's pretty nice.
It rules.
Yeah, it's a really good fit.
Yeah.
Which is only the beginning, by the way, dare we say, of any sports references in this episode.
Oh, yes.
We're getting
ahead of ourselves.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. But yeah, I loved, and speaking of fits, Jules is wearing like goddamn protective gear over his eyes. Yeah, I thought he was wearing like a blind guy's glasses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the full light sensitive.
I love the line that's like, don't look at the baby Jesus, you will go blind.
So then we get to Drew's big meeting with Mrs. Lauder. He's pretty nervous. He's a sweaty little boy in this. He doesn't really know what he's going to be doing, what he's going to say, what she wants of him. She's 80. What the hell does Drew Carey have in common with an 80-year-old woman?
She does look terrible.
Oh, Interesting.
They
I
made
was
her
gonna say-
look ancient.
Well, she looks pretty good for 80, I was going to say.
I guess she's
Yeah.
pretty independent for
Yeah,
80.
she can walk around
I
a
feel
lot.
like I'm going to be a vegetable at
Yeah.
80.
I don't think I'm going to be alive when I'm 80, but if I am, it's not going to be great. I'm not going to be owning a department store in Cleveland, Ohio.
I really think that, like, I mean, I guess there is, like, don't you think that health and fitness, like, I guess some people in our generation are trying to tap into this, like, you eat organic foods and you take your vitamins and you exercise regularly, and maybe, I mean, I guess, like, human life expectancy is increasing over time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like at some point, though, maybe it'll just start going back down. Like, are we going to peak and then come back because also, like, so many people in our generation just, like, we're just on, like, iPads and sitting in couches and eating takeout.
How's it going to work when we've got, like, headsets strapped to our heads? What's the life expectancy going to be like?
That's going to be a significant... The day we all have Google Glass and we're all just, like, watching porn and walking down the street.
Yep.
I'll say what I'm going to do with Google Glass.
Absolutely. No, I mean, a lot of people are, you know. It's not going to be good. I don't know. That's an interesting thought. Life expectancy in the Apple Vision Pro era. I think a lot of people just might also fucking die in car accidents wearing this shit.
Yeah, a lot harder to see traffic.
Yeah, when you're also playing Fruit Ninja.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So Drew sits down with Mrs. Lauder, and we find out that she wants him to be his personal assistant. I don't know why. Of all of the people she could have picked, why does she pick Drew Carey? This is never explained.
Well, she does tell him right at the beginning, Drew, your look is comforting. It's it's as if the 1950s never left.
Boom. Roasted.
So maybe she is just... I mean, Drew
Did you
is
take
a very,
that as a
like...
roast?
What?
Did you take that as a roast?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Oh, it's definitely a roast.
Yeah.
But I don't know if she... I don't know if she was coming out like Jeff Ross, Roastmaster General. I think that's what we read it as, but she probably meant that in
You think
in
she
an
meant it
endearing
sincerely?
way.
Maybe. God, the roast of Drew Carey.
I wonder if does that exist somewhere?
It might. I wouldn't be surprised if he had
A Comedy Central roast. The roast of who would be on that lineup? I mean,
Jeff Ross.
You'd have to have Jeff Ross and like Shaq.
Ryan Stiles. Shaq. What's Shaquille O'Neal going to say about Drew Carey?
I don't know, dude, but they just started putting NBA players on those things. It was just like, oh, here's a laundry list of comedians, and then Dwayne Wade.
I was going to say Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade probably has some great zingers. Noted comedian Dwayne Wade. Drew is less than thrilled to be offered this personal assistant job, I would say.
Yeah.
And I get it. You know, I don't want to spend all of my time with an old lady. But he starts to realize there's a lot of perks to it.
Well, besides the fact that it pays twice as much,
Which, by the way,
is what he makes.
I did go back and look.
You did the math?
We know his salary.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't get the free lawyer to represent him. Which, by the way, when
so
you
what?
think
He
about
would
the
make
fact-
about 62.
No, he made 24, so it'd be less than 50K still.
Wow, never
to be
mind.
this woman's personal assistant. But again, it's 95. I don't know what the inflation rate is on that, or how much when you adjust. Is it better?
Either way, doubling your pay.
Yeah, not that bad. He gets to get out of a manager job, which means he can get with Lisa.
That's a big incentive.
And she also says, which this is the funny part to me, is that it will fast track him to become the assistant for personnel at the company, which is another management job, is it not?
Yes.
So
he wants to leave management and get back into management.
Right, after I guess he's already married to this woman. Is I guess his game plan here?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Or maybe he can if he gets that big a job, maybe he can convince Lisa to quit. I don't know. They didn't explain. I'd like to know Drew Carey's 5-year plan. They haven't laid it out, but it would really help me as far as character motivation.
Yeah.
Because he's a little all over the map.
I need to understand what his intentions are. I need to understand where he sees himself in the future. I think these are important
and if I
things.
can see myself with him in 5 years,
Yeah.
we might.
Yeah.
We might be right here
I think this is
talking
our
about
5-year plan.
what Drew Carey
Absolutely.
looked like in 5 years.
So he also the other important thing to point out about this personal assistant job is he does not have a choice, because if he doesn't take it, she's gonna fire him.
Right.
So it's not even like an offer; it's like a mandatory. You must be my personal assistant.
Yeah, but I will say off the bat, doesn't seem so bad, because next scene he's at home. And he gets a courier first
The
Jules
gang
the gang's all
roasts him.
there roasting him about how Mrs. Louder just wants a piece of Drew Carey.
Lewis says it's like driving Miss Daisy, and I thought that was very just
Yes.
on point. It's basically, they think he'll just be spending all of his time with this old hag who's
Right.
just only interested in him to feel young again.
Yes.
But yeah, no, we do need to talk about Jules though, because
Well, Jules at one point in this scene, while they do roast Drew, steps in through the front door dressed. Well, he's like, "Who do I look like?" He walks in, and he's in full wise man garb, and they're like Lawrence of Cleveland.
he's got sheep. He's got a live nativity scene going on in his backyard or his front yard. No, his backyard.
Yeah,
Because then it bleeds into Drew's backyard.
Right.
Neighbors are coming by with camcorders to film it.
the live nativity scene too. One of the goats escapes, and he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna shave it and eat it after the holidays." So at least he's resourceful.
Yeah. Again, I would also like to point out another live animal that we have seen on the Drew Carey show.
Yeah, wow,
They
that's
fucking love animals, dude.
it is. Well, it's all Jules related.
Jules loves animals. Wouldn't it be funny if we find out that this hick neighbor of his is actually a big animal rights activist? I think that'd be pretty cool if there's a subplot where Jules is joining PETA and yelling at people for riding horse carousels or something fucking dumb.
That'd be much better than the more predictable route, which is the DOJ or the FBI raids his house and finds his basement full of fucking zoo animals.
That's true.
And
That's
he's
probably
just
what it's gonna
milking.
Be. He is the Tiger King.
Yeah,
He's precursor Tiger King. But they're all roasting him about having this job, and then Drew's kind of "Fuck you! I think it's actually pretty good." Lays out the argument for it, and then gets a courier to come with a pen for Mrs. Louder. Drew is so worried that she's going to know that he's been stealing off his pens.
Yeah,
he brings it up in the interview.
Yeah, so as a peace offering, she sends Drew a fancy pen. I don't remember the significance of this pen.
It's her husband's pen. It's her dead husband's pen.
I don't know if I'd want that pen.
No.
Feels a little intimate as a pen. How about just a pack of 20 Bics and be all is well. Don't sweat it.
No, man, it's got to at least click.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be calligraphy. I don't need a founding father
get a Bic
feather
that
and
clicks.
inkwell. Huh?
You can get a Bic that clicks.
Yeah, but I don't think of a Bic as a click pen.
Right. Okay.
You know? I think of it as a little cheaper than that. I don't think the company that makes lighters can also make click pens well. I don't know. Maybe that's bias on my part.
I feel like a lighter's a more impressive technology.
Yeah. Than a click pen?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I guess you're right when you think about it.
If I had to weigh, if you were to talk to the cavemen or the early humans,
Yeah.
I think they'd be way more impressed with a
That
lighter.
you were able to start a fire
pen.
in your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I had to take one thing to a desert island, it would probably be a lighter versus a pen.
Yeah.
Well, it'd probably be something else, maybe a machete.
Yeah. I'd bring an iPod.
Yeah.
And
with
it's
no
only,
headphones.
It's only loaded with the original Broadway recording casts of Hairspray. That's all that would be on the iPod.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
bringing that to a desert island.
Yeah.
That's what I'm bringing to the desert island.
Wow, you're going to go. It's going to be a fabulous way out for you.
Yeah, the monkeys are ripping me apart, but I'm singing Good Morning Baltimore like you wouldn't believe.
So
It's a goofy late night pod, man. So we get to the office holiday party. Drew ostensibly says, yes, I'll take the job.
Yes.
He doesn't have a choice, as we already said. The office holiday party is set.
Cut to sexy Christmas DJ Oswald.
Oh, yeah. He's getting everybody all riled up for Hark the Herald Angels Sing or whatever the hell.
Right. Coming in at number 19 on the 20 Christmas countdown is for the last 136 years.
He is
good.
ready to go, man.
He's a professional.
Drew arrives with Mrs. Lauder, and Mimi. We get a little bit of the Secret Santa resolution. Mimi tries to give him a present that I believe is a dead squirrel, she says.
Yeah.
And when Drew tells her...
Oh, you know what? I just got that. Like, she said the dead squirrel thing, and I wasn't entirely sure.
Oh, you didn't get that was what was in the box.
That was what was actually in the box.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But then Drew tells her basically that he's taken on Mrs. Lauder's personal assistant's position. And she freaks out. And we don't see any dead squirrels. We also don't see what Drew got her, but he says it's basically a bunch of horse shit.
Goat
shit. Was it goat shit or horse shit?
I thought it was goat shit.
You're probably right. It was some sort of animal feces under the Christmas tree.
Yes.
They love each other. I do love that dynamic. We don't talk enough about Mimi Bobek in this podcast because... I don't know. It's just
I feel like Mimi will get a bigger role.
Yeah,
we're a little
sure.
early on in this,
Yeah.
but like Mimi's around for a long time.
But already, like she absolutely like makes an impression.
Yes,
I still think
100%.
Yeah.
Can I just say this is the wildest fucking Christmas party, office Christmas party in the office, because up next they Lisa comes over.
Well, we should say before Lisa comes over, we see Mr. Bell going crazy. Mr. Bell, again, we do not see in full. He's dressed in a very high.
It is
Santa
the first
costume.
we see a physical
body for Mr. Bell.
For Mr.
Before
Bell.
At this point, he's either a camera POV or he is
just an idea,
a voice. He's just. Mr. Bell's a concept.
Mr. Bell's a concept until this point.
But now he's a physical man, and actually, kind of short.
Yeah,
short king, Mr. Bell.
Also, kind of fat.
Yeah, well,
I didn't expect that.
Short kings can be fat sometimes. I say that as a fat short king. Is that sometimes get you a man that can do both, you know?
That's what, honestly, that's what this show is all about. I mean, that is your star.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Carey.
Mm-hmm. Short, fat king.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we see Mr. Bell running around with one of his, as we've already established in previous episodes, like office mistresses. He's getting frisky in the Santa outfit. And then, yeah, Lisa comes over and starts chatting up Drew. Drew kisses her, makes moves, feels confident.
Yeah, he pulls out some mistletoe.
She's like, what's going on? And he's like, I am no longer in management. Me and you, we are good to go as far as this is. He declares her his girlfriend to the whole office.
Yeah. Big moment.
Big moment.
And then she proceeds to grab him by the tie.
Mm-hmm.
And they go off.
They go off to the bathroom.
To have sex.
They go have sex. Which is crazy.
Which is, to be clear, they say Drew is like, we're talking about sex,
mm-hmm.
right? So we do know for a fact they're having sex.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, we don't know exactly what door they went into.
Right. We
knew it was off
away.
Screen.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Mrs. Lauder comes up and she needs Drew to run down to her car and go get some packages or Christmas gifts she left in there. Right. So
they're all looking for Drew.
They're all
now.
looking for Drew.
Mimi walks into Mr. Bell's office very quickly and hears some sexual commotion. And she immediately thinks it's Carey, and she tries to get him in some deep shit with Mrs. Lauder. So he calls Mrs. Lauder over. Oh, I found Drew. They walk into Mr. Bell's office. No, it's Mr. Bell. Hook it up with one of the mistresses.
Yes. So Mr. Bell gets caught, and then they go, how is it they get led down the hall then to the next
Mr. Bell
door?
Wants to plead for his job, but he wants to do it privately. And Mrs. Lauder says, well, I'm not going back in your office. So then he tries to take her into another room, or what I thought was a bathroom.
Yes.
And that, behind door number 2, if you will,
yo, why are we not locking doors?
I know it's a big problem. Could you? Well,
The Matt Lauer thing didn't happen yet.
Drew needed the button. Drew needed the button
I'm
to
just
lock
like,
the door from the inside.
There had to be locks on doors at this point in office spaces. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Two people having two individual couples having sex at the office party. No, you put a chair in front of it.
Also, the way that I would just say you could have put a chair in front of it. But
Yeah.
again, if it's a bathroom, those doors don't really lock like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, also the way that in both of these rooms, they're close enough that like they're probably separated by just a wall.
Yes.
You think the couples are hearing each other having sex?
That
Which, listen, maybe that's your thing.
could be.
Yeah. Maybe we learned Drew Carey's a little bit of a kink king, as we've already established.
So at this point, it's safe to. Sorry, that just registered to me.
No, we talked about him with the wedgie play.
Yes. Yeah. Drew is a little kink king.
Don't kink shame Drew Carey.
Oh,
Drew, I love you
would
so much.
never.
I love you so much, Drew. I will defend you against the kink shaming.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, Drew basically completely fucks himself by getting fucked at the office party.
Yeah.
Basically the episode ends with him, Mimi, and Lisa all dressed up in.
They're all serving a punishment, which is they're all in the crystal room dressed up as Santa Claus and elves, etc. And they ostensibly have to serve candy canes and candies to patrons during their lunch hours
While promoting like
the
deals
store.
in the store.
What an insane world that this is the punishment.
Yeah.
Mr. Bell just kept his job.
Yeah.
But the other people all had to just hand out candy?
What do you think that HR conversation was like?
Drew, well, I'm sorry.
Drew, unfortunately.
You know this behavior is inappropriate.
You know the rules, so what's your suit size? It's wild.
And then the credit scene
Yeah.
I do enjoy. So there was a point in the party where Mrs. Lauder is freaked out a little bit by Kate, Lewis, Oswald, which who wouldn't be? They're being weird. She's like, hey, there's free cabs downstairs, basically telling them to fuck off. And they're like, oh, free cabs. Okay. So they go downstairs. Wow.
That's how they talk? Oh, yeah, free cabs.
Well, that's my Oswald impression.
That's a pretty good odds. That's a pretty good Dietrich Bader.
Anyway, they go down to the cabs downstairs, and they ended up where you don't see them go to the cabs or anything, and then cut to credit scene, and they're like, Chicago was fun.
They're all in a cab. They're heading to they're heading to Florida, if I remember correctly. Gainesville? Graceland. That's what it was. Yeah. Fun.
Now, what was episode 10?
The title?
Yeah, what was the title?
So this is unrelated from. It's the J episode.
Right.
But this is I really am interested in the writers' room dynamic, and I need to look up if this exists or if anybody's talked about it. Season 1, episode 10. The title is "Science Names Suck," because we've had scientific episode names prior to. So it really does seem like there is some sort of divide growing in the writers' room.
Yeah, to the point where they were like, here's what I think of your fucking names.
Yeah. You nerd.
I was going to say, is there any science in this episode? No.
I mean, I would say there's a lot of chemistry.
Yucks.
I wonder if that is the whole take on it.
Maybe.
That's a little too clever.
A little too on the nose.
So,
a little too clever,
yeah.
actually. Yeah.
But we episode 10 starts with the boys, no Kate, out at the Warsaw. We learn that Kate has a new boyfriend.
It's fella's night.
But they're talking about how they won't see Kate for a couple weeks probably because she's off getting enamored with this guy.
They literally say she fell in love.
Yeah.
So,
and we get all of them lamenting about how they're unable to find love. Drew in particular. Though, if I remember correctly, Drew literally had a girlfriend at the end of last
Drew
episode.
just fucked in the office.
Drew just fucked in the office bathroom.
So,
and he's like, I'm never going to find love.
Again, I need his 5-year plan. I don't know what he wants or what his objectives are. What is a win to him? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're sitting there. They're having this powwow, and then at
at the table
Can
next
I
to
say
them.
powwow?
Yeah, they're having a little powwow. I would think that's a correct word.
Is
to
that
use
an
for
Indian term?
this. It's Cleveland.
Okay.
I think it's Cleveland in the 90s.
It is.
They're
It's
having
Cleveland
a powwow.
in the 90s. They were fine with that.
They at a table across from them, they find a guy eating a burger past midnight, and Drew, being the guy that he is, just has to talk about how great an American that is to have red meat after midnight.
Yes.
Turns out they know the guy because, again, Cleveland is the smallest town in the world.
Yeah.
This guy is Jay. Did I get his last name down?
I didn't
Jay
get his list.
Clemens.
Clemens.
Mhm.
He was the high school. They knew him from high school.
They knew him from junior high school and high school. They say he was the prom.
He was
king
the
in high
prom
school.
king.
He's Mr. Popular. So I
He
would
is
describe him.
very handsome.
Mhm. He's charming as hell. Very handsome. He's back in Cleveland after a divorce. After a 3-year marriage ended in divorce, and he owns a moving company. These are the notes that I took on Jay Clemens.
Interesting. I didn't realize the moving company thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I did notice just a character trait here where they're like, hey, pull up a chair, and they're all sitting there, and they're talking about, he just got out of this divorce, and they're just talking about meeting women and everything, and they were just lamenting on how they couldn't find love. And then a woman just comes up to Jay at the bar
And asks him to dance.
And he's like, I'm just trying to have a beer with the boys right now. It's all right and everything. She's like, oh, I didn't notice.
Mhm.
Okay. And then Jay turns around to the rest of the gang and he's like, don't you hate when you're just trying to hang out and you don't really want.
Don't you hate when just attractive women come up to you and
ask you to dance?
Yeah, it's not a shame. And they're just all sort of shocked that is. But that's where he's at, man.
That's
He's a handsome
that's who
motherfucker.
Jay is.
So that's who Jay is. So the next scene's back at Drew's house. They're all playing Life. And for some reason, when Drew, I can't remember what it was, but they basically had Drew chug packets of like sugar candy.
Yeah,
Sugar
well, it's
straws.
apparently something they used to do when they were in high school.
Which makes a little more sense, but I think it's sadder when they're grown men.
My favorite line in it, though, is Drew lands on a space that gives him another kid.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, man, another kid? How does this guy do it? He never leaves the car.
Enter Kate. Kate no longer has that boyfriend. That boyfriend that we were talking about 2 minutes ago, he's broken up with her.
He had to leave town. The great reveal is Kate's like, yeah, he has to leave town for work. And Drew's like, that's the last thing you would expect from a guy in the carnival.
Mm-hmm. He's a carnival worker. He's a
So
carny.
he's out with a carny.
And the carny had bigger and better plans. Probably going, I'm going to guess, to another town in Ohio.
Yeah. Right away, we get
We get some testiness.
we get the testiness here
between
from Kate
her and Jay.
and Jay because Kate is feeling replaced.
Mm-hmm. Jay takes her seat. He takes her little car that she plays with in Life.
He takes her fucking slippers.
And then not only does he take the slippers, he roasts how big her feet are. Because they fit Jay's feet. He's like, oh, these big, they're puppy slippers as well. They're very cute puppy slippers.
Yeah.
But he basically roasts how big her feet are because they fit him perfectly. Yeah, Jay is pissing her off.
But can I just say, Jay's quick.
Yeah.
Jay's funny. Jay's not just a handsome face.
Yeah.
Jay deserves some respect in this, and I think the boys respect him.
Mm-hmm.
Kate does not, but I think we need to give Jay credit for being
for sure.
handsome and funny.
Absolutely. Yeah, we don't give handsome, funny
We
men
don't give
enough
handsome,
credit.
funny men enough credit.
Handsome, funny men that have podcasts. We don't give enough credit, I would say.
We're all talking about Shane here, guys.
No, we're talking about Jay. We're not even talking about us. We're
talking about us, guys.
Yeah. It's Drew's birthday. I feel like that kind of just came out in the middle of the episode. I think I missed it somewhere, but it's Drew's birthday. We learn when he gets to the office. Him and Mimi. Look, man. Everybody talks about the Office pranks. You know what I mean? Like the Office, the sitcom pranks between Dwight and
Jim, kind of.
They got nothing on it though. I think the Mimi and Drew pranks are another level.
Yes.
Because they're both biting in their commentary towards each other.
Yet so simple.
Yeah.
Just Drew's drawer is upside down,
Mm-hmm. There's a dead fish in one of the drawers.
and then
My
Mimi's,
favorite.
Mimi's.
Mimi gets a phone call from Drew, and he goes to pick it up, or she goes to pick it up, and it's the phone is super glued together, and she hits herself in the face with the goddamn
That's
phone.
a good prank.
It's a great prank.
Damn, that's a lot of glue, probably.
Is it? I feel like it's the two pieces.
Yeah,
right?
that's probably a lot of glue though.
And
She picked it up with so much fervor.
Mhm.
I feel like you need a lot of glue to make sure that's gonna work.
Could that just be though that Mimi is abnormally strong for a woman of her age?
She's definitely strong.
Absolutely.
I would say Mimi could beat Drew in an arm wrestling match.
I think that's right. Yeah,
100%.
I think so.
Yeah.
But is that more of a testament to her strength or Drew Carey's weakness? His
Yes.
frailty. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That was the correct answer. You won. Congratulations. Kate and Jay meet once again at the office after we get this little prank war. And they butt heads once again. They basically disagree on they're going to a movie and they got to get dinner beforehand.
And the one thing that we left out, the whole reason they're doing this, it's Drew's birthday week.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Drew. How old do we think Drew is
In this?
in this episode?
25. I got no idea. Wouldn't it be really funny? if he was
Jesus
just
Christ. He has aged terribly.
Just 25 years old. That's all he is. No, he's probably like, how old do you think Drew? Well, how old
I
is
love
Drew
that
Carey
also
himself
implies
in
then like
95?
Ryan Stiles is playing a 25-year-old.
How old is Drew Carey in real life at this point? Right in the third, and he's probably
Hey, he's in his 30s.
late 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's about right.
Drew, if you are listening to this, write in.
Yeah, Drew, if you could
Tell us
DM us on Instagram.
how old. I know we could Google it, but just tell us how old you were.
Yeah, Drew,
at
listen.
episode 10 of season 1.
I don't want to do math, Drew. So if you could tell me approximately like late 95, early 96, how old you were. Maybe it's too late to go back and talk about this, but with the prank war, Mimi gets into it with a security guard at for the department store.
Oh yeah. Oh wait.
I saw you perk up.
What an insane moment.
Yeah,
Because
that security guard.
the
like,
security
threatens-
guard, I guess, saw Mimi doing something nefarious near Drew's drawers.
Mhm.
And she was like, she was getting reprimanded by him, like she was pulling her out, telling her to knock it off, whatever. And he's like, Mr. Carey, Mimi was going through your drawers, this and that. And Drew's like, I'll take it from here. Thank you, officer. He's like, are you sure? Give me a couple minutes, and I can have those cameras look the other way if you want. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Did they just imply they were going to beat the shit out of Mimi?
Mm-hmm.
But as we just discussed, Mimi can hold her own.
I think so.
Mimi would beat Drew in a fight, no question.
But how about the security guard?
I'm amping it up to fight.
Security guard.
Sunday. Drew Carey takes on Mimi Bobek down at the Cleveland.
So anyway, yeah, but it is Drew's birthday week. Drew is 25 years old, and they're gonna go out to celebrate by watching a movie, and they're getting dinner beforehand. Kate, we learn here, picks where they go to dinner usually.
yeah.
Is that just like? Is that a feminine thing? Is that a trait, or is that just a Kate
Maybe
trait?
she just likes food. Like she's
a
one of
little
those
bit of a
people that just love picking the restaurant. I couldn't be me.
Yeah.
I like good food, but I never know what restaurant to go to.
It might just be she's a very controlling
Yeah.
person. Yeah.
I mean, she needs something.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't really dictate the plans that often in this group,
Right.
it seems.
And they're always over one guy's house specifically.
Yeah.
So she probably says where they go
I like
otherwise.
the plans. Their plans are only ever drinking at Drew's house.
Yep, that's most of it.
They've never had
or
another
they drink
plan.
at the Warsaw and then they go home and drink at Drew's
Drink
house.
at Drew's house.
That's where they go.
Kind
So
of the life I want to live.
we get the ultimate divide, and I want your answer on this between where they should go to dinner before the movie. Kate says Chinese food. Jay says an Italian restaurant.
Chinese food. No
I think
doubt.
it's got to be Chinese.
It's got to
food.
be Chinese.
I don't
food.
even know if I would like to eat Chinese food before a movie, but the idea of having a full Italian meal before I go
Yeah.
to sit through a
Gonna have
movie.
fucking lasagna
That's
and then
fucking
go sit
nuts.
down
That's
at
insane.
the AMC.
Could you imagine getting like Pediella vodka and then going to see like a Marvel movie?
No,
No.
that's Italian's an outrageous move.
It's ridiculous. But for some reason, and I don't know, maybe it's just it speaks to the charisma of Jay. They're all on board with Italian.
Yeah, I mean, Jay could convince me. I was putting myself in that social situation.
Uh-huh.
I could be swayed by Jay.
Yeah, you just look in his eyes.
Yes.
You'd be like, yeah, no, actually, I think Italian.
Actually, yeah, you're right.
Garlic.
Jay,
bread.
you're really
Yeah,
funny
yeah,
and handsome.
yeah. Jay, what are you doing after the movie? So Kate leaves basically in a rage of fury that they all agree that they want to do Italian instead of Chinese food. And this is now the ugliness of this feud between her and Jay.
This is it at its peak,
Exactly.
really, it seems.
To the point where now Drew has an issue with his birthday party. Drew is, again, throwing his 25th birthday party at his home, and Kate has now said she will not go if Jay is invited.
Ultimatum.
Ultimatum from Kate.
So now Drew is faced with, and I got to say, big points for Jay here. Drew is faced with a conundrum.
Mm-hmm.
They're at the Warsaw talking this out. And Kate pulls Drew aside, explains that and ultimatum, and then Drew pulls Jay aside, and he's like, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna need you not to come. Kate won't come if you don't." And Jay's like, "I get it,
Takes it on the chin.
totally fine,"
Takes it in stride.
and he just accepts it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, big points for it. That is a good man. That's a good friend.
That's a baller move.
Yeah.
To just be like, yeah, I get it. Absolutely.
So anyway, they cut to the birthday party.
Mhm.
And
Well, I do just want to acknowledge before we go to the next scene, the warehouse girls have invited themselves these. You want to talk about people that could beat Drew in a fight?
oh, holy shit.
These muscle ladies, basically these big broads that work in the warehouse department for the department store. Overhear Drew
Muscle
and
mommies.
Kate, the muscle mommies.
All these muscle mommies.
These muscle mommies come through, and they overhear Drew and Kate talking about the party, and they just straight up invite themselves to the party.
Yeah, well, they all want to fuck Drew's clan.
Yeah. Lewis is so worried. Lewis is so worried about that one girl going after him. He keeps saying that he's in a relationship, which he is.
Yeah.
So he's not lying.
We have seen her once. We
We have
can't confirm.
I think twice.
Once.
Okay, we've seen her once.
Unless, like, one episode.
Yeah, one episode.
Twice in
Multiple
the one
times in
episode. You're right.
That's right.
But
Yeah. So anyway, just so the warehouse girls are at the party. Cut to the party. We see all of them. They're having a great time. There's no Jay to be found, but Kate's there. Kate's right on Drew's arm, by the way, which I think makes this even more annoying. Probably that like there's this whole will they won't they tension. You know?
Yes, there is.
And she's playing with his emotions like that and being like, I'm gonna pick your friends and everything.
They pivot to this. Well, no, there's a great scene right at the beginning
Oh, we
of
gotta
the
talk.
birthday
The
party
cake.
where Oswald's like, "I made a dirty cake," and
we don't
Lewis
see
comes
it.
over. We
Show-
don't get to see the cake.
Tell, don't show.
But he's like, Oswald's like, "I made a dirty cake," and he's like, "Isn't that where that goes?"
Mm-hmm. And Lewis just goes, no. But the thing is, no, that's not it. So that doesn't go into there? No. All right, well, then that's just a man with a pointy hat.
I cannot visualize what
what
the
it
fuck he
possibly
made.
could look like. And then they light the cake, they bring it over, Drew blows out the candles, and he goes, is that me with the pointy hat? And Oswald goes, yep. And it's very funny. I like the idea that Oswald is the horniest guy on this show, but he doesn't understand how sex works.
He doesn't know.
He's just, the basic fundamentals of like reproduction.
He could not make a dirty cake.
Completely lost. He doesn't. He's just the horniest guy.
But so now they do this weird. They pivot to this weird, like surprise for Drew, and you don't know it's a surprise at the beginning, but he sits in an armchair and they put up a curtain between the living room and the kitchen, and they're like, "Here's your life, Drew."
Drew
And then-
Carey, this is your life.
And then they have, which might be a reference to something, and it's just over our heads, but.
Well, it's like an older thing, right?
They
It's
go
a-
behind the curtain and they start doing impressions, and like Oswald goes back there and they're like, "This is your," and he does an impression, and it ends up being his Uncle Bob, whatever. And then Ryan goes back there, and then it starts rattling off like a list of accomplishments.
Athletic accomplishments.
As far as getting drafted by multiple leagues, multiple Gold Gloves, titles, star
Pitching
appearances,
awards.
whatever. Then it turns out to actually be, curtains pulled back, it's Dave Linfield, Hall of Famer Dave Linfield.
The second big cameo that gets an applause break in season 1.
Yes.
It's Penn and Teller and then this
Dave
baseball
Linfield,
star.
this baseball guy.
Yeah.
Who, I mean, he's like, he played with the Indians, but he played with also a bunch of teams. But he was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2001. So he's like a stud. And I actually looked. His current role is the special this is kind of a bullshit role. The special assistant to the executive director of Major League Baseball Players Association. But the special assistant is kind of ambiguous.
Okay.
But either way, he works for the MLB PA now.
Yeah, he's with the union. All right.
But
do
he's
you know if he was with the Indians when this was happening?
Well, no, at this
show?
point I think he was retired.
Real? Oh, sure.
Because if he was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2001, and
right,
this is
there needs to be a certain amount of time
95, there would have
between.
there would have been some years between that.
Yeah.
So
I wonder how they swung that. I wonder if just Drew knew him, or if he was a fan of his stand-up or something.
Or I mean, just I guess, or like, we're making a Cleveland centric show.
Yeah,
you can probably talk a Cleveland athlete or into doing it.
Do you think
it's such a weird place.
They did the Drew Carey show today, they would be able to get LeBron James to cameo? I'm trying to think what that would look like today.
Well, it would look the same, and they go behind the curtain and be like, "I was just a little boy from Akron."
And it just,
I just wanted to bring a championship home.
I dreamed in these streets. Oh my God.
Yeah, LeBron would totally do it. We need a couple of Cleveland legends there.
Yeah.
It seems to me the Mount Rushmore of Cleveland starts off right now as LeBron James and Drew Carey. And I haven't, as soon as I meet two other people from Cleveland, I'll let you guys know who fills it out.
We'll finish the Mount Rushmore when we find anybody. We find out that Kate was able to get him to come under the promise of there being a 12-foot party sub.
Yeah.
Which is just a great little aside. And then Drew invites him to go up, or almost is about to invite him to go up to his room to look at all of these like baseball cards or something.
Sports trophies.
Sports memorabilia. Sports trophies. But then there's one more person behind the curtain. And it's fucking Jay. Jay showed up, so still a cool guy move, I would say, to be like, don't worry, I'm not going to cause a problem. But then he does make a little bit of a scene by showing up just to gift Drew a present. And then Kate gets all pissy, and then Drew has enough of it and just goes, listen, you two are both grown adults. I'm going to send you into the other room. You're going to talk this out, and you're going to work this problem out, and that's my birthday gift, basically.
Basically, it's that way, so they both go behind the curtain.
And they start yelling at each other.
And they get a little, she hits him at one point, gets a little, I mean, you can feel the tension here. It's a sexual tension.
Right. We've misdiagnosed.
They're both
the old
attractive
bait and switch.
people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We see that the tension all along is actually sexual tension.
And
Kate basically slips up and reveals that she's physically attracted to him.
So then Drew's in the other room, and Drew's like, it's awfully quiet in there. And Ryan's like, maybe she went for the vocal box.
Always.
And then they go behind the curtain, and there they are making out on the counter.
Sink.
A couple of school kids.
Drew and all of them are. The general consensus is basically, oh, so you made up. You're friends now. And then basically the episode ends with the two of them dating.
They're like talking about going on multiple dates.
Yeah,
they're all gathered around a snow-covered pool table in the backyard.
They're still shooting pool. God bless them.
I love Cleveland.
And they're all giving him advice basically with Kate dealing with her idiosyncrasies.
Yeah.
And that's where we end it. I thought pretty solid episodes all around, I gotta say.
Yeah, I really enjoyed those.
Really?
I like where we're headed. I like Jay as an introduced character.
Yeah. Absolutely. I do like just the sheer horniness of these two episodes between Drew having sex in a bathroom at work and the whole Kate and Jay tension. But I do think, I do like the introduction of Jay as a character. We are almost at the halfway point here. This is episode 10. Episode 11 will be the official halfway point for the first season of the Drew Carey Show.
Buckle up, guys.
Do you have any thoughts going into this first, or almost being done this first half of a season?
No.
Any hopes? Any wishes?
I mean, I hope Drew and Lisa get this shit figured out, man. I mean, what are we doing? How if you're in love, we're playing around too much. Just love is
Drew Carey,
talk to HR.
Stop playing games. Stop playing games, Drew Carey. Just fall in love with this girl.
What do you have any predictions, hopes, wishes, complaints?
I think we'll see more Cleveland-centric cameos. I could not tell you who. I still got hope that we'll see like a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame episode, and we'll see some rock stars. Maybe that'll come later down in the line.
Yeah.
I want to figure out, because I did look at the later episode titles, and some of the science titles do come back. I really do, and I don't know if I have to do personal research, if I have to hit some weirdos up on Twitter or something. I want to figure out what's going on in that writer's room, that they're all angry at each other for these different themes and title suggestions.
You think we can get a writer on this podcast?
I think anything's possible.
We're gonna look up the Drew Carey Show writers' room. I'm sure they got like some good like quality comics and writers on there.
I'm sure,
but I bet you there are some people that would still be willing to talk to us.
Yeah, and we absolutely will. This is why I think we would be willing to talk with anybody involved with the Drew Carey Show production.
This is an open invitation.
If you are one of those people, or if you know one of those people,
if you work craft services,
if you fed Drew Carey, I want to know about his dietary habits. I want to know, though he's pretty open about his dietary habits now, but I want to know Fat Drew's dietary habits.
Yeah. Red meat.
Red meat after midnight. That sincerely though, if you
That's
you
a good
are
episode title.
Ooh. If you are one of those Drew Carey Show people, or you know and can connect us to one of those Drew Carey Show people, sincerely, email us or Instagram DM us. Our email is clevelandrockspodcast@gmail.com. And our Instagram is @clevelandrockspodcast. We will be reading all of that.
Check us out, guys.
And also, if you guys have any general feedback on this, you want to give your voice.
Do you know where I should be holding the mic?
Right. If you have any idea on the audio quality, how old do you think Drew Carey is?
Yeah.
We're open to any and all feedback. So, but yeah, I think that wraps up this episode.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you in the next one.